can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted to be joined by Elliot Stott. We are in final prediction mode for a fight that only got announced a few weeks ago. Jalolov is back. Bakhodir Jalolov is back in action as he faces Vitaly Kudukhov in St. Petersburg, Russia on the 6th of October. Yeah, baffled by this fight, Elliot. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it and obviously your prediction as well. But yeah, Jalolov 15 or no, 14 knockouts in and out of the pro and amateur game. Seems like we still talk about him as a prospect, even though, he is into his 30s now. He's fighting a guy here with a 7-3 record. So, yeah, your thoughts on the matchup and your prediction, please, Elliot.
Thank you very much, Paul. Yeah, we'll start off with a prediction. I don't think anyone can deny that Jalolov is a talent. But this is his second pro fight in the last 2 years. So it's hard to predict what to expect because obviously, as you've said, he's kind of gone back into the amateur game bizarrely. But the guy he is up against, not gonna pretend to be an expert, but he's not got the best records. Lost 3 out of his last 4. His last fight was an 8-rounder, lost every round on all the judges' scorecards. So my expectations are low. However, I don't think Jalolov's performance last time out was the best. So I'm going for Jalolov a late stoppage here, but it's a hard one to predict though. It's a hard one to predict. We could see another points victory. We could see an early stoppage because he is a talent. Nobody can deny that. But yeah, I'm going to go for a late stoppage round 7 or 8.
Yeah, nice one. I'll give my prediction, sure, then, and then I'll come back to you for maybe any further thoughts. But yeah, I agree. I think, let's be honest, 99.9% of people who are going to be backing Jalolov here. As you said, he is a talent. He's got all the attributes to be a great heavyweight, I think. And it's just frustrating, I suppose. I agree with you. Although your man Kudakov, he's been beaten 3 times, as you said, 3 of his last 4 fights have resulted in defeat. Hasn't been stopped, but even those against in those fights, I mean, where are they compared to Jalolov? You'd like to think that Jalolov is levels above these guys as well. So I think Jalolov wins. I think he wins via stoppage as well, even though, as you said, he went the distance for the first time last time out in what, April or whatever it was. Um, but yeah, I'm going Jalolov stoppage. I'll go a little earlier than you. I'll go Jalolov to get the job done within the first half of the fight. I expect him to do that. He should do that, in my opinion. If he labours to a points decision, it's like, what are you doing? Seriously. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Do you have any further comments, Elliot, or thoughts on, yeah, just kind of the situation we're in with Jalolov, and like, do you find him frustrating just because there's clearly talent there?
Yeah. Like I just think that we often talk about kind of the next kind of heavyweight prospect, the next king of the division on this channel. I think we're still in this era now where the likes of Fury we're expecting to fight again. Joshua will fight again. Usyk's at the top of the tree, but in the grand stage of his career. And then you've got the likes of kind of people like Joseph Parker, Ajit Kabayel, Deontay Wilder is still maybe a force. Zhilei Zhang. None of these guys are young guys. And I remember 4 or 5 years ago, Jalolov was supposed to be the guy, was supposed to be the next king of the division. Now people talk about it as if it's Moses Atama. You had some people even suggesting that Johnny Fisher could be the next king of the heavyweight division, but we won't go into that, Paul. And that's not happened with Jalolov, has it? I just think he's been inactive. He's bizarrely gone back to fighting as an amateur, which he's very good at, but that's just not what our expectations were. And I'm at the point now with him where I don't think Jalolov will live up to his potential because he's just not had the run that you need to have. He's not got the momentum. He's not got the activity. He's not. Has he fought anyone above English title level? I'm not kind of convinced. Maybe in his last fight. So yeah, I think we're just kind of forcing ourselves to do this video, but it is a frustrating one. And he's at the age of 31 now, which isn't old for a heavyweight, but it's not young. And I just think I would love for Jalolov to kind of have a really active next 12 months, and then maybe be in some sort of eliminated next year. But it's hard to see that. It's hard to see that happening, and why why he's fighting an opponent of this standard, of this level. I don't know. It's a very strange and frustrating one because the talent's there, the ability is there. He's not been tested as a pro yet at all. I don't think he's lost a round really. So yeah, I won't go on anymore. But it's definitely a frustrating one.
Yeah, for sure, mate. I echo everything you've said there. I think that's maybe why it's so frustrating because we know just from the eye test so far and like the hype that was around him when he was turning over, like he's clearly a really talented fighter, could be world class, and it's just frustrating that yeah, as you say, he has these fights against people that you, as you mentioned, wouldn't be above English title level, definitely not above British title level in the heavyweight scene over here. So yeah, it's just frustrating, mate. But like as you said, who's to say that if he does, it's all ifs. If it's all ifs and buts. But if he is to go on and have these big fights against, as you mentioned, the Times of this world, even the Dubois and the future kings of the heavyweight division, like he's got to have some tests first and soon because, as you said, Moses Atama, like 4 years ago when we were mentioning Jalolov, nobody'd heard of Moses Atama because he was still in school. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now everybody's talking about him and they're kind of forgetting about Jalolov. So I think he needs to do something within the next 12 to 18 months where we're like, right, okay, this guy actually is the real deal and could win a world heavyweight title.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Just got final thing from me, Paul. I do let you go. I think ESBR, along with other outlets, received a press release when this fight was official not long ago. So I don't know. We don't know how much notice Jalolov's been given for this fight, but in that press release, Jalolov did say, "My goal is, of course, to become world heavyweight champion. I believe that with my experience, I deserve to face the strongest fighters. There are many Uzbeks in St. Petersburg who are also eagerly awaiting my fight. I will do my best to put on a great performance for you all." I don't like he's not written that himself. Someone's written that for him. But I just think the fact he is still coming out and saying my goal is to be world heavyweight champion shows some ambition and hope. Yeah, so we kind of hope to see him in a meaningful fight in the next 12 months. But we'll see. Expectations are pretty low.
Yeah, expectations are low for me as well, but that is maybe there's a bit of a optimism there, I think. But yeah, who he fights and whether he wins those fights is a whole nother story. But yeah, Elliot, enjoyed that final predictions video with you. October 6th in St. Petersburg, Russia. Jalolov is back against the 7-3 Vitaly Kudukhov. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on this fight, your thoughts on Jalolov and what you want to see him do next. Where you rank him? Does he frustrate you as well? And as always, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Elliot, thanks very much, mate, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Paul.